I'm Matt, aka Alolanya.
I'm Harry, I'm about to make some bad life decisions.
So we're trying the One Lip Chip Challenge. We have a cooking show coming out next week, our first cooking show. And we decided to do this to promote our cooking show. He's gonna have a really bad time.
Try to stay out the water as
Oh, there, yeah, there it goes. That's good.
We're gonna see how long we can go without water.
Mother.
Walk us through it. How are you feeling?
So it's like weirdly reminiscent of beef jerky.
Okay.
But if beef
Is it 'cause
jerky
any
was
beef
just
in
trying to
this?
fucking harass you.
How bad is it? Is it worse than you expected?
I expected them to put a little bit more flavor into it. Mother.
So the charcoal powder is what's making his mouth black, I believe, and then chipotle is probably what made it taste like the beef jerky.
Is this a CB2 table?
Yeah, it is. This is restaurant supply table, and he just noticed that. We can tell we got a true chef in our head. He's like, "Is this a restaurant supply table? Can you draw on it too?" Yes. Take good notes on here.
So my lips are really hot.
Yeah. Are you feeling the need for a sip of water?
Yeah. This was a poor decision on my part. water did not help it.
Did the water make it worse?
It didn't make it better.
I want a single tier.
Oh no,
We have the almond milk. That probably won't do anything.
I'm not famous enough for this.
Hey, but our cooking video, our first cooking video, will hopefully get 200 views. If not, this was a waste.
This is gonna be wild ADHD energy. We're gonna.
Here's what we're thinking. It's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm Matt." And then he'll be like, "Yo, Harry, what's up?"
It's gonna be way less chill. It feels better when I'm drinking it, but it
Of
doesn't
course.
feel better after.
Yeah.
it's
It's like when you accidentally eat the jalapeno, like when you're eating pho. It doesn't stop. No, no one had that experience.
Specific fun reference. Oh god, it hurts.
Yeah, you get like the raw jalapeno and you accidentally
Gotta
chew
keep
it.
drinking. You want to keep drinking.
Oh no, it's not getting better.
I had a
It's
single crumb a little
getting
bit
fully
ago.
roasted.
My tongue is still burning.
My
What are
lips.
we cooking for our first? What are we cooking for our first YouTube video?
Alright, I'm thinking chicken risotto, so I can pay homage to my Italian people.
Okay, you're Italian. Are you Italian? Or are you just like half
Half
Italian?
Italian. Carrying a passport and everything there.
You have an Italian passport?
I have an Italian passport. Can't speak the language though, if anyone asks.
Be careful with your hands. They're like all over your face. I bet your forehead burns.
I didn't think about it until now.
Yeah, which is why paper.
Boys, okay.
So we're cooking chicken risotto.
Chicken risotto
what's the
at
concept?
three levels of complexity.
Okay.
Because I think risotto is one of those dishes that scares a lot of people off.
Yeah.
It's like something that takes a lot of time.
So for the people, what is risotto? Because I doubt half the people in this room know what risotto is.
There are a lot of European countries that have similar dishes to this, or there are also, American jambalaya is a lot like this. You have a starchy rice. You have a lot of meat.
What is that? 3 different levels of complexity. So I will cook probably the medium complexity. You will cook the difficult complexity. You have to find some noob.
Right.
Someone
I'm
who has
thinking
no
the
idea how to cook.
noob level has some sort of like Ben Freddy rice involved.
Okay.
The roof of my mouth is on fire.
The roof of your mouth is on fire.
It's kind of progressed from the outside of my lips to just the roof of my mouth.
That's not good.
To just like the glands, the things that like make you feel bad when you. Anyway, so chicken risotto, right? It's one of those things that people think like you can't get right when you're a home chef, and it's not a hard thing to make. Even like the normal way, the normal like straight line way, not hard to make. Just takes a little bit of time, but it's just a little bit of time going like this.
Like time the herb or time like the.
Well, yeah, in my recipe, there's a little bit of each.
Okay.
But people confuse time with technique, and I think that's really right because people assume that something isn't done in 20 minutes means that it's hard as shit. Like the
You're being very patient.
anyone who wants to look like they know how to cook, just make risotto. It's what I did for years, looking for someone to do the basic version. I'm assuming the basic version will.
The basic version, I think it should be like we choose a random like Mail Me member to just be like, "Yo, follow this recipe," and see how they do. So they probably would cream all of us.
There's
What if they just like come in and
Okay, well,
I
what
would
if
want
what
it.
if we go for the branding deal, but we actually up because we asked them to make a basic version of the risotto, and instead they just order the risotto off a meal. We guess we meet there like 3 times faster and 3 times better, and probably
That's
a
a
good
good
price.
I think we should. I think we should do 3 risottos at 3 different levels, but we also order a risotto and see if that one comes, and if it's, and we compare it blind taste test to the 3. And at the end, we also should have a blind taste test for all 3. See which one is actually better.
I've given speeches on this. Home cooking is cheaper than eating out, is cheaper than delivery.
I don't think anyone's arguing.
However, if you don't aggressively know what you're doing, that's not true. Because
True.
if you don't know how to save like ingredients, how to turn
Sure.
yesterday's leftovers into today's meal.
Yeah, you buy a
That's
whole
not true.
chicken, you buy like all the herbs you need, and then it's really expensive.
I throw dinner parties for 6, 8 people, and it ends up easily costing $150, $200.
Sure. Because
And-
you use it just for.
You use it just for that, and it's like if there's any kind of specialty ingredient. And if you I feel bad kind of like trying to entice people to cook because then they're like, oh, I tried to make one stir fry, and buying the soy sauce, the sesame oil, the fish oil,
It
whatever.
becomes
it is,
really expensive.
it gets hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Right, but it's like it's kind of based on.
But
having a
if
pantry.
you like live there, you keep it in your house.
But
then
this
it costs zero.
is my real thing. The real thing that aggravates me about most recipes you find on the internet is that they say prep time. Every recipe I see, prep time 5 minutes,
Not true.
and I'm like,
You gotta have the mise en
If you're a
place.
professional chef with multiple line cooks below you, yes, you can get your mise en place done in 5 minutes. But if you're
So for those of you that don't know mise en place, everything in its place, and fringe, it means you have everything in its appropriate area. Everything's either pre-cooked or pre-cut, so that whenever you want to compose the final dish, it's just boop 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 boop. cook it up.
Think of it as a Food Network show. So when you're watching a Food Network show, when you're watching Bobby
Yeah.
Flay, whoever it is,
Right, exactly.
they have these glass bowls lined up in front of them. They're like, oh, 3/4 cup of diced bell pepper.
Yeah, they have the
Convenient.
bell pepper. Yep.
Dicing the bell pepper takes a long ass time if you don't know what you're doing.
Very
Even
much
if you
so.
know what you're doing, it kind of takes a long ass
30-minute meals, definitely not 30 minutes if you don't have your bell pepper pre-cut.
And so if they're actually advising you to make everything from scratch, you kind of got to double the cooking time.
Mhm.
And I'm not against cooking. I don't think either of us is against cooking.
I'm very for cooking. Very much for cooking.
But at a certain point, it's like I'd like people to be realistic about what they can accomplish in the time they get.
Yeah.
And if you have 30 minutes to order a meal, 30 minutes to get a meal on the table, you go to Meal Me.
Yeah.
You don't go to cooking it yourself.
If you really don't have that much time, you should either go pick it up yourself, go to the restaurant and get the pickup order. You can do that through Mealme if you would like. Or you can get a delivery order and keep working. But if you do want to have a really solid meal, watch one of our videos. You'll learn a thing or two.
Well, you might just be entertained, but
Or you could just be.
one of the two will happen.
Stay tuned next week.